Hey, I'm Cassandra, and I am the sewing instructor here at Ophikiwaywin, and today we are going to make some quick little medicine pouches. They're going to be about this big and they can hang from your neck. So for that we're going to need just some scrap leather I have here. It's quite thin so it's easy to sew with. Some thick needles or some leather needles. You can just cut strips for your necklace part of it. And then we're just going to need some scissors, some sinew. I just cut this out, this little template. It's 2 inches by 2.5 inches. And then I rounded it out just so I can have a nice little shape for my medicine pouch. And then I have a thimble because it's going to be hard to push through the leather. And some sinew and scissors. Okay, so first what we're going to do is just trace and cut. There's one side of it. Right side. And make another. And then, so one of them is going to be the front side and the other side is going to be the back side. But we're going to have a little flap that comes over and folds onto the front. So all I'm going to do is turn this around because I just want that same shape. Just draw it. Okay, so this is the 2 shapes that we have. I'm just going to cut them out. So these are our 2 shapes we have. Let's just surround it on both ends. The other one's the exact same as this, and one of them's going to fit right on top. And then we're going to sew all along this edge here. All along the bottom, and we're going to have a spot over like this. So what I'm also going to do at this point before I start sewing it together, I'm going to have a little tie to close this because I don't want it this thick. I'm just going to use a strip from here. And that should be enough. So this is going to be for the front of it to tie it together. You could, if you don't have a leather punch at home, you could always just poke the hole and then just make it bigger with a pen. But because we have one, I'm just going to quickly poke a hole, poke another hole. So at the top of that, you can see that I have poked 2 holes. And that's where the flap's going to come over the front part, and then our ties are going to come through here. So what we're going to do is line it back up, fold it over how we're going to want it, take our pen, poke some holes where we want that to line up. And then we're going to poke 2 more holes on the other side. And then that piece, once we have it all together, is just going to fit through here. So this will be our little tie, and then once we have our strap on, and then this will be what ties it on. We poke it through the front here, just like that. Anyways, we'll take that out for now, just so we know that it fits properly. And then also, where our fold is, so I have this line drawn here. We're going to poke 2 holes on either side of there, and that's where our straps for our necklace are going to go in, and they're going to tie onto that part. So, because we already have these lines here, I'm just going to poke 2 holes just above it. little bigger. Okay, so that's what it looks like. There's just those 4 holes. On the front side, there's the 2 holes that line up with these 2. Okay, now we're going to start sewing. So we got our sinew. I'm going to take just shy of an arm's length. So we're just going to start sewing. And our first one, all I'm going to do is pull it almost all the way to the end. I'm going to tie a knot off here. You see that? I'm just going to double knot it like that. And then once quickly again. Another quick double knot. Trim it, and I'm going to continue sewing up. Make sure it's lined up nice. I'm just gonna, because I want to see my thread, you know, it's brown. This is brown. It looks nice. You can sew it inside out, then flip it, but I'm just gonna sew it right along the outside. I'm just gonna keep wrapping it around. All right, we're almost at the end, so we just poke it through. All right, we're almost at the end, so we just poke it through, like so. And then I'm just gonna wrap this around here 2 times before I push it all the way through. That's how we're gonna knot it off. So let me see. Oh, there's a knot there. Sometimes I'll just singe these with the lighter real quick. You can do that if you want, or else just kind of try and hide that little bit of the seam. Okay, now that we have that, what we're going to do, we have this piece. We also have our necklace piece. This is pretty cut. Well, might just be enough. Yeah, that's gonna do. So I'm just gonna angle this off so I can get this through the hole. Kind of like so. Good point. And then from the back side, I'm gonna poke it through. And I'm just gonna tie off a knot here. So you'll see we'll have a knot like that on the inside. And the same thing. Just have a point, and I'm going to come through the back side. So I'll make sure this isn't twisted. Right on the end. Back. Got the necklace part of it. So So at this point, you could also like add some beads if you want to the necklace. If you want to make it more elaborate too, obviously, you can do some beading right on the actual bag itself. It's totally up to you. This is just like the simplest possible form you can make of it, but you can get pretty creative with them. And from this, I have these kind of pointed off, and I'm gonna come from the inside up here, and these two ties are gonna come in each of these holes, or each end of this tie, I suppose. So you'll see we'll have a knot like that on the inside, and the same thing. Point, and I'm going to come through the back side, so I'll make sure this isn't twisted. So there, knot right on the end. Pull it back. The necklace part of it. So at this point, you could also like add some beads if you want to the necklace. If you want to make it more elaborate too, obviously, you can do some beading right on the actual bag itself. It's totally up to you. This is just like the simplest possible form you can make of it, but you can get pretty creative with them. And from this, I have these kind of pointed off, and I'm gonna come from the inside up here, and these two ties are gonna come in each of these holes, or each end of this tie, I suppose. Okay, so I've got these two ends, and I'm just gonna pull them all the way through. That, and then this is how our pouch is going to be. So this part just stays in here permanently like that, and then these two, to open it up and close it up, you can stick it through the holes we punched on the front of the bag, and you can put your medicines in there. Nice little tie for our medicine pouch. Okay. We can put that on our neck.